Meet the new iPad Air, this time around with that Apple M1 silicon. So what else is new? What has remained the same? Let's unbox it and find out. My name's Ash, you're watching C4E Tech, and if you do end up liking what you see here, thumbs up, subscribe, turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon. Let's get started. So here we have a typical Apple iPad box. It's not been slimmed down yet, if you get what I'm saying. Let's tear those seals off. Opening it up, we first have the iPad Air itself, the blue variant. Apart from this, we get space gray, pink, purple, and starlight as alternative color options this year. The Air is followed by an insert with some regular leaflets, a SIM ejector tool since this happens to be the cellular variant, and a couple of Apple stickers. We then have a USB Type-C cable, and finally, a 20-watt charger. With this video, let's start with what still remains unchanged from the last generation iPad Air. First, the overall build. This is still the same sleek slab of metal and glass. The dimensions remain unchanged, so all those nice things you heard about it last year, they all apply this year too. And also, since the dimensions are pretty much the same, all 4th gen iPad accessories, iPad Air accessories will still fit this one. Even the last two 11-inch iPad Pro accessories for that matter, this is basically my 2017 iPad Pro's case on the Air M1 and it fits perfectly. This also means the battery capacity hasn't changed. It's the same as the last generation, and given battery life was solid on it, can't really complain. The screen here, again, you guessed it right, same as the last time around, 10.9-inch Liquid Retina 1640 by 2360 pixels. It's an awesome display with great colors, great for comics, especially given the Air is sleek and weighs in at about 460 grams. Now the screen to body, while not as impressive as on some other tablets, it's still quite respectable. That said, my pet peeve here, my biggest pet peeve, it's gotta be the screen. Just like on the iPad mini, it still remains at 60 Hz. ProMotion here would have been amazing, given all that power on the inside. Let's circle back to that in a bit. For now, the speakers remain unchanged. You get one on either side. They sound rich and loud. Touch ID also returns and works as usual. There is support for the 2nd generation Apple Pencil, and finally the rear camera, it remains unchanged too. It happens to be the same 12 megapixel f1.8 setup from last year, and as you can see, the images, they continue to be very good. Pretty detailed with good dynamic range and natural colors. It can do up to 4K 60 for video, and the performance, pretty good. Especially given this is a tablet camera we are talking about. If you're gonna shoot video, you're gonna have to do something like this. So the 5th generation iPad Air is a very familiar piece of hardware, but that doesn't mean it lacks anything new. It's got a lot to offer. Now let's take a look at what's new this time around. First up, the chip on the inside. Apple's gone with the critically acclaimed Apple M1 on this tablet, making this easily the most powerful tablet available at the moment. Given the limitations of a tablet operating system compared to a full-fledged desktop OS, the question of do you need all that power, it does pop up. But assuming the answer is yes, you want the best performance possible, the Air M1 is gonna be the least expensive way to get it. iPadOS over here is a pleasure to use. Given the screen size and the extra horsepower underneath, multitasking is a breeze. Split screen, slide over, it's all very consistently responsive. This is by far the largest generational jump in performance with tablets. The Air has no issues with pretty much anything we threw at it, even the hardest to play of games. They managed to run at maxed out settings with a stable and solid frame rate. Also, having all this power can help with future-proofing. That's where the RAM increase comes in. Apple's now got the RAM up to 8 gigs. This means the Air M1 should be able to receive updates for 6+ years at the very least. There are some other smaller changes too. The selfie camera, for example, is up to 12 megapixels from 7. Apple's added center stage, so when you are, say, on a FaceTime call, the 122-degree field of view at this camera's disposal means it kind of tracks and moves along with you, keeping you at the center. Now, if someone else walks in, then you get the wider field of view. Well, the USB Type-C port is not Thunderbolt spec like with the Pros. The speeds doubled to 10 gigs from 5 gigabits per second. So the Air can support displays up to 6K now. Additionally, the cellular version gets sub-6 GHz 5G support. And that's pretty much all the changes that Apple has brought with this generation. Now, I like the changes. The M1 chip is pretty revolutionary and the new iPad Air is an excellent tablet for the asking price. I mean, Apple devices don't come cheap, and this one starts at $599 in the US, 24.99 dirhams in UAE, and a whopping 54,900 rupees in India. But do know that the base storage, it still remains the same from last gen, so it starts at 64 gigs, which might not be optimal for everyone. But then if you want to increase storage, you only get 256 as the alternative, at which point the pricing gets uncomfortably close to iPad Pro territory. Again, personally, I love the iPad Air, but just like with the iPad Mini, the lack of promotion is what is pretty annoying to me. I mean, why have all that power and not push it to the max? If this one had promotion, then for my personal use, I wouldn't even be looking at the Pro. Yeah, the Pro brings other advantages to the table, a couple more speakers, Face ID, an ultra-wide camera, flash, millimeter wave 5G, Thunderbolt, a higher screen to body, and more storage options. But those are all nice to haves. They're great if they are there, but I'm not really going to be missing it. To me, at least, they aren't deal breakers. Promotion, though, I think that's going to be the biggest reason for you to choose the iPad Pro instead of this. If that is something you think you can live without, then the iPad Air seems to be a lot of tablet for, well, it's Apple, so for a lot of money. Anyways, that's been my impressions of the new iPad Air with the M1 chip. What do you guys think of this one? Love it, hate it, got more complex emotions? Let me know all about it in the comments below. And with that, we are at the end of this video. Thumbs up, thumbs down based on whatever you felt about it. Subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that bell icon if you haven't yet. And thanks a lot for your time. Thanks for watching. Until next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4 Retech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.